Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today we are back with our third episode in the Hardcore Warframe series. I hope everyone's doing well. Since last episode, I kind of did the first two episodes back to back, so I hadn't seen any feedback, obviously, since before the second one. This is going to be the first time that I have some new stuff to update everyone on as far as the account goes. A little bit of housekeeping, so feel free to jump past this if you just want to check out the updates for the actual Warframe account. I'm going to have more little overall updates for the account right now. Starting off, we are going to actually be making this account hardcore for real. So no trading ever of any kind, no platinum buying, nothing like that. Originally, for anyone that doesn't remember or doesn't know, I was planning on only either trading in game or buying platinum so that I could specifically buy the slots for additional warframes and additional weapons because I wanted to get all of them, you know, kind of Pokemon style. But I decided before seeing all the comments, funny enough, that were agreeing with this, it would be cooler if I could just say that I had never ever traded on this account, you know, never bought platinum, never traded anyone, so that I know that everything on the account is done as Iron Man style as possible. So with that in mind, I am going to be going forward with that not trading mindset. Also, I did see other people's comments that were really helpful. Thank you everyone for not just watching the video. I really only planned on hopefully getting 5 to 10 views. So the fact that we got over 1,000, super exciting. I'm going to try and come out with episodes every week just so that everyone can stay, you know, up to date, have a regular series that they can come back and watch whenever they want to, whether it's regularly or just all at once, just so that everyone, you know, hopefully that is nice for everyone. I don't know. This is my first time, obviously, but that seemed like the nice thing to do. Let me know on what type of frequency you would like, whether it's more episodes per week, less episodes per week, maybe one big one per month. Let me know what you guys are thinking about that. As far as some of the comments though, some of them were really great. Some of them had great tips on, for instance, the syndicates. I didn't know that you can actually have 4 syndicates running at the same time. That's actually really crazy. I only ever had 2, so I figured that out. I figured out that you don't need to actually wear a sigil on your Warframe. That was kind of funny realizing that. But those are great tips. Make sure to keep those coming. If you see anything that you think I might not know, chances are I don't. I am not new to the game, but I am still learning a lot. Also, shout out to the person that mentioned that the mustaches were for the Movember movement for men's prostate cancer. I think is for the month of November. And it's funny enough because I did that in real life whenever I was a teenager, so it's kind of funny I didn't notice that right away. As far as housekeeping, I think that's it. Just a few updates for the account and for the entire channel as a whole. So thanks again for checking out the videos, and I hope you continue to enjoy them. So as far as this week goes, we can start off with the actual patch for this week. It was a really big patch. It was the 1999 patch. A lot of people didn't think that we were actually going to get this patch so quickly, but we did, and it was really cool. I actually didn't watch the reveal for it or anything like that. I heard it was really cool, but unfortunately I don't think I can actually participate in this patch. I do think you have to have all the missions in the game complete, or like your star chart or something. You need to have a little bit of an accomplished account, and I don't have that yet, so I kind of just was appreciating it from afar. There were some really nice patches and updates, or I guess more quality of life stuff in that patch that I would recommend checking out. But honestly, they overall seemed like a pretty good patch. A lot of people liked it. And funny enough, one of the biggest parts is that you get a motorcycle in the patch. In that content, you're allowed to use a motorcycle in the open world, in like all of the Cetus areas, but people were able to get it into actual missions, funny enough. And Digital Extreme, funny enough, I haven't seen this in pretty much any other game. They saw that you could summon a motorcycle in almost any mission and were like, all right, that's kind of cool. And so they actually left it in the game. So if you have one of the automacycles, as I think it's what it's called, you can actually summon it in any regular mission. So if you're like just on Sedna doing a sabotage, you can drive through the mission and go and blow up whatever you need to blow up. So that's kind of funny. Speaking of going through missions, I need to work my way through maps and missions. So that's pretty much what we're doing. I always think it's funny whenever I notice other people doing the same thing and trying to just fill out their star chart. So I'll join a game, complete it, whether it's a sabotage or a capture, and then I'll move on to the next one. I usually typically leave party just because I don't know what that person's doing, but it's funny whenever you do find the same person in your next match and then your next match, and it's just obvious that you guys are all just completing the star chart, trying to go through it. And it's nice to have company when you go through a map, at least for me. I do like playing solo sometimes, especially on like spies and stuff like that, but it is nice having company from time to time, just being able to easily, work through a few of the missions, especially things like intercept. I really hate those missions, but especially disruption. Or whenever you're saving the Grineer defectors, I hate those missions. So it's really nice to have someone there whenever you're doing it, just to make it a little bit easier. But for the most part, that is what we were doing in a lot of this episode. We were just working through Jupiter. And this is a pretty chill planet. I like it a lot, not as much as some of the next planets. One of my favorite is coming up here very soon, but Jupiter, honestly, not too bad. I do remember a time before they reworked the layout of a lot of the maps here that I would just sit on the IO defense mission for hours and hours and hours. Just, I don't even know why. I wasn't even farming XP or anything like that. I kind of just liked the mission. I would just do it on repeat over and over again. And I did like the map more back then. This one probably is better. I don't know. So that was pretty much it for Jupiter. I slowly worked through that. And on one of the missions, is funny enough, I did end up chilling with a Wisp on survival for quite some time. I actually think we were in there for like 25 or 30 minutes. And it's definitely one of the longest survivals I've had on this account so far. And I asked what they were farming, and they were farming Hexanon. I don't even know what that is. I ended up finding out that you can use it for certain weapons that I'm actually going to try and make really soon here. Pretty excited about that. But that was pretty chill, just to hang out with the Wisp. But they did mention that they did appreciate me hanging out with them, because we kind of just farmed in a hallway the whole time on the survival. And they were saying that a lot of people don't like chilling whenever they're doing survival, and don't know that you actually have to be in range in order to get the XP. So a lot of people just like farm in random different areas. I thought that was kind of funny, because I thought everyone like kind of knew that you had to like be together for it to really work on survival missions, or not usually a problem on defense missions, but the same thing, So that was really fun. We were kind of just chilling for a long time, and Wisp is such a cool Warframe. Honestly, I'm really, really looking forward to getting Wisp or Wisp Prime, whatever ends up happening first. I think that'll probably be one of my favorite Warframes that I think I would probably keep it for quite some time. I don't know about forever, but it always looked really cool. I didn't really get to play it much, but I really like the buffing ability, and overall it just seems really strong as well. Shortly after that, I decided to buy some more weapon slots. So essentially, I think I ended up buying one Warframe slot, and the rest I ended up spending on weapon slots. I think that's what it was. It was funny, the very first time I ended up buying a weapon slot or spending any of the starter 50 platinum that you get, I actually did it on accident. It's just the pop-up came up and I just clicked yes or whatever, and already the platinum was gone. I was like, I was kind of bummed, because I wanted to build it up and make it like a big thing in one of the first couple episodes, but that's it. It's no hype around it. Just spent the platinum on that, and really not too much fluff about it. Just ended up buying some extra slots. And then shortly after that, we unlocked a few new missions. So we got the new Strange quest with Cephalon Samaras. I always find it extremely creepy how in your face he gets. It is a little off-putting, but we did get the quest New Strange. We weren't able to start it yet. I think we had to unlock a different planet or something like that, which we don't have access to, so we did get it started. That'll be cool whenever we get to that. I do want to do more Cephalon Samaras, like capture, or I forgot what it is, like whenever you're scanning the enemies for Samaras. I really want to unlock a Loki first before doing that, just because he's one of my favorite Warframes. It's kind of weird because I know a lot of people don't like Loki, but I had a lot of time on Loki whenever I had my other account. I kind of just liked him being able to be invisible. Back then, Ivara, she existed, I just didn't really play her too much, and there was almost no other invisible Warframes, so it was kind of just Ivara and Loki, and that was really it. I know there's a few more options now, but Loki still has a really nice place in my heart, so I hope to get him soon, and then I can actually start doing the Cephalon Samaras scanning capture things so that we can get some rep with him as well. Also, speaking of Warframes that I can't wait to unlock, I really want to unlock a Warframe that I feel more comfortable putting a potato on. So like one of the Orican catalysts or reactors, I forgot which one it is for the Warframe. As you can see here, I kind of was, at my limit on Excalibur and really wanted to upgrade him, whether it be with a Forma, with a potato. I just wanted to take him to the next level, but I decided not to because since I am switching over to this full hardcore playthrough, I have to be really picky on where I spend my catalyst and also where I spend my Forma, just because those are resources that are fairly limited to me still, and I don't think I'm going to keep Excalibur forever. I've already done the mastery, so at this point it's just whether I want to keep him because I like him. So unfortunately, I don't think whenever the time comes, he's going to make the cut. So I ended up not upgrading the Warframe, even though I really wanted to, just to take him to the next level. A little bit more damage, a little bit more health, all that stuff. Whenever I end up upgrading those mods, unfortunately, it's probably not going to be for Excal, so it was a little bittersweet. Someone that it might be for, but probably not, is going to be Valkyr. Valkyr, I did end up farming from this boss. Honestly, I didn't feel like I was doing a lot at this boss. I considered stopping the farm, and I do have a little bit of an account update as far as how I'm going to progress with farming bosses in the future. But I did end up joining and, taking out this boss a few times. Is definitely there's a lot of people farming this boss, so I didn't have any problem finding groups and able to take it down pretty easily, and we got Valk. I actually didn't end up having the materials to make her, so I didn't end up actually getting anything from that really until just recently. On a totally different note though, I am really close in one of the syndicates in the, I think, Steel Meridian. I'm really close to the next level. I think currently I'm Defender, or I want to get to Defender. I forgot which one is the very top rank, the one that requires 2 Aya for you to level up. Once I get to that, I'm really excited because there's a really special item that the Steel Meridian sells that I really like a lot. It's probably one of my favorite items in the game. So if you can take a guess, let me know. And also let me know if you think there's other syndicate items that you think I should look out for. I really am not super familiar. Back when I did play, I was Steel Meridian and Red Veil. I didn't really explore the others, even though I had, like a however much XP, I didn't really check out the other ones, mostly because I didn't know that you could do more than 2, and I didn't really want to go into a different syndicate that would reduce my current ones. I never really had that line of thinking. But now that I do, I am going to be exploring more of them, so let me know what other ones I should really look out for, and we'll hopefully be able to get those items soon. And that was about it for Jupiter. We got kind of a lot done, so that was pretty cool. We got a new Warframe, a few new quests started, as well as some new items, so that was a nice little planet. We can move on to Europa. Probably not one of my favorite planets, but at least it's smaller. I don't know, trying to look on the bright side of things, but we were going to go there, but we took a little bit of a detour first. We are going to do some grinding, so probably one of my favorite, types of relic farms is going to be a defense relic farm, mostly because you're getting more relics while you're spending relics, and that always feels really nice to me, especially if you're spending lith relics on a lith earth farm. Then I could probably just do that for hours at a time. That being said, I, in the future, don't think I'm going to really be recording any defense or survival farms that I end up doing that last for quite some time. I might mention it here or there, but it's probably not going to be a big highlight on any of these videos going forward, just because they do take so long and they're not super interesting for most people. So unless they're, unusually long or anything like that. I probably won't be mentioning them in the future, or if I get anything cool, I obviously will talk about that. But if it's just me going to Lith for a few hours to get some more relics, then I probably won't be putting that in. Let me know what you think about that, but I think that is kind of a fair assessment unless you guys really like watching defense farms. So with this Lith relic farm though, it's nice because I was getting ready for my first ever Barrow Katir. I hope that's how you say it. That's how I've always said it in my head, but I'm getting ready by trying to get as many duplicates as I can. It's funny because it is always fairly bittersweet whenever you do get a duplicate. Like if you see a gold item, it's always really nice to see a gold item, but if it's something you already have, I always in my head I'm like, oh, that's really cool, it's like 100 ducats, but I also really wish it was just an item I didn't have yet. I kind of like having as many as I can to make more items. I think the ducats are worth more, so I am happy to get duplicates here, especially if they are silver and gold. Those higher selling ones, those are really going to be nice for whatever he has in store for us. I really, really want to get some. Funny enough, I obviously want some upgrades for the account, but I would really like some fashion stuff because it's kind of bumming me out how plain Jane we look for so many episodes. Even now, this is future me. I still don't have very many or pretty much any fashion frame type of stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. But I had been saving a ton of Lith relics for this farm, so I was able to get through an entire hour at this Earth Lith defense farm for as long as it could go is how long I was there. I was able to farm a bunch of nice prime parts. I got stuff for Ivara, Mass Eater, Burstin, and the Latron. All of those would be really nice grabs. I can't use the Mass Eater. I've never even seen it before, but it looks really cool. It's way too high mastery for me right now, but it was really cool to see it. And also, I actually got some Wisp parts, so I was just mentioning how it's one of my favorite frames. I was really happy to get that. Speaking of one of my favorite frames, I was able to pick up Rhino. So this is our first Warframe on the account. That was pretty exciting to be able to get done with that. Get started on a new Warframe. I do like Rhino a lot. Obviously I used to, back in the day, have a strength Rhino build, and he would just buff everyone in the group to have like 300% strength or something like that. It was always really cool. But these days I kind of just use him to go on missions where I really don't want to die, for his extra shield. And that's kind of usually how I use him. I honestly don't play him a ton, but he is really cool. I like the idea of stomping the ground and making everyone freeze. That's always really sick. But I am just glad to be picking up another Warframe. We can start on the grind here. But that did remind me to tell everyone that I am planning on not making any Warframe parts like the neuroptics or the systems unless I can make the entire Warframe. That's just because, for instance, if I get locked into having 2 Warframe parts and not really getting enough parts for or materials for the third part for a long time, I don't want all my materials to be wrapped up in those 2, I guess for lack of a better term, like worthless parts because I don't have enough to make the third. So unless I can make the entire thing, I'm just not going to get invested to it, so I can maybe use it for a different project or a different part so that I can get that going instead. So you can see here, this is exactly what I was talking about. Really not too many colors to work on as far as getting the new Warframe looking good and ready for battle. It's really just a few, so I hope to get a color palette picked up soon here. That would really help out my Warframe's self-esteem, because currently we're just looking a little beige, which is, okay. Everyone starts from somewhere, and I'm sure we'll get some in no time. Hopefully Barrow has something, but we will see. That'll be nice. And I did throw on another mustache. Shout out to Movember, and the Baron kind of just felt right on the Rhino, so I did put that on there, and we were off. We did get a little bit of I think this is a Syndana or a Sindana. I don't know how you say that. Let me know. But I did end up throwing this other one on, which was also from, I think, the other cancer awareness event that we had here, and it's cool. It's a bunch of flowers, so I did really like the way that looked, especially on Rhino in this big tough Warframe. kind of a funny little contrast there. And I forgot to mention that also on the Warframe, I did put on corrosive projection. I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but I did get corrosive projection. I upgraded it, so that was pretty nice. That was back in my day, you know, old man reference. That used to be the go-to and probably best aura that you could put on your Warframe because all of the enemies in the game had armor. So that was a huge aura back in the game. It's still very good now as far as I know, but definitely not what it used to be. And after I picked up Rhino, I went right back to the Lith Relic farm. So this is the defense farm again. I did that as well as a bunch of other relic farms just so I could get some extra barrow stuff, level the Warframe up a little bit, you know, kind of 2 birds, 1 stone. Speaking of leveling up items, I was leveling up the Karak. I think it's this assault rifle. It's a really fun weapon. I was very happy with how the weapon felt in general, but I was considering maining this weapon, and by that I don't really mean only using this weapon, but I was considering whether I want to, you know, put a catalyst on this weapon and really take it up a notch, but I decided not to. I'm not sure if this weapon will be strong enough to do that with, or if I should wait for a different assault rifle like the Soma or something like that. Something that has, you know, a little bit stronger of a hit, especially something good for bossing, and that'd be really, really nice. But it was great for this Mastery 6 test. It was actually perfect because it was the aiming test, so we passed that with flying colors really, really easy, and we are Mastery 6. Okay, so you know how I mentioned Wisp Prime, or Wisp in general, is probably one of my favorite Warframes and something I'm looking forward to the most. Well, I randomly, while leveling and doing this Rhino grind, went into a exceptional relic. This wasn't the highest tier relic, I just randomly had some points, so I felt like upgrading. I was like, you know, maybe I'll hit the gold. And I hit the Wisp Prime chassis gold with a just random exceptional. That feels so good when you get what you want on just a low shot in the dark, and that was really exciting. Wisp Prime, I'm really gunning for her. Not really. I'm trying. I don't think I'll be getting her anytime soon, but that would be really amazing if we're able to get Wisp Prime. That'd be cool. I'd probably, like I said, keep that Warframe for a really long time. Besides that, though, we do have a different Warframe that we were taking a look at, and that's Nyx. So I did end up farming Forid, is I think the name of the boss. It's kind of like the giant charger boss. So I did end up farming him so that we could get Nyx. I didn't know that we were going to get a free set of Nyx blueprints for this most recent stream alert event thing. So I ended up getting this Nyx, and then, you know, just recently got another one, so I didn't really need to do that. I did decide, though, this is something I alluded to earlier. So after farming Nyx at Forid, I honestly didn't feel like I was doing a lot of this boss, and because of that, I kind of am putting a pause on boss farming. Now you might wonder why, you know, this is going to be a big loss of progression if I don't farm these bosses and I don't get these Warframes, but it's mainly kind of what I alluded to and talked about earlier a few different times in a few different ways, in that I really only want to do content that I know I could do by myself and that I feel like I could reasonably participate in. A really good example, I was talking about this to my partner recently. I was telling them that I don't really care if I do 0 damage. It's not the fact about how much damage I can do in a group of 4, for example. As long as I know that if I was trying, or if I was set up similarly as the other people in the group, that I could get the 25% and make a meaningful impact on the group. Because there's going to be times where I don't feel like grinding, but I'm just in there, you know, having fun. I don't really I'm not focusing on damage or, you know, what's going on. But as long as I know that I could be a big or meaningful part of the group, that's all that matters to me. But based on this Forid boss, as well as the last boss with Valkyr, I really didn't feel like I was doing anything, like I was up to snuff. Like I really felt like I was just getting dragged along with the group, which is totally fine. I know a lot of people play like that, especially at certain bosses. In the beginning, you know, you just don't have a lot to contribute to the group as far as damage. It's just a lot of leveling. You don't really have any strong weapons yet, and that is kind of my main point. So because I felt that way, I've kind of decided to put a pause on bossing until I feel like I can really contribute to the bossing situation. And by that, I would really want a kind of a boss weapon, or a weapon I can use when I really mean business, so that if I need to take it into a group, I can and be a big part of these bosses, or, be the carry for a group when other people don't feel like grinding. Whatever it is, I just want to be able to feel like I earned that boss kill, or I could if I wanted to. And so because of that, until I get a pretty good, what I'm calling a boss weapon, or just, a strong weapon, I'm not going to continue these bosses. So I'm going to be putting a hold on, the bosses that give you Nova, Ember, Hydroid, Equinox. All these bosses I really didn't feel like I could, be a meaningful part of the group. So until I can, I'm just going to avoid those missions and avoid those farms. That being said, I would really like some help on people, or from people from you all, to help me decide on what weapon should I go with for this type of content. So currently I'm deciding between a few different ones. The best weapons I have, as far as I think, I can't really go with a melee weapon, because there's some bosses that you just strictly pretty much cannot melee. For instance, I went against Lephantis recently. You literally could not melee that boss, as far as I understand. So we're going to need to get a ranged weapon, and I have the best mods for rifles as well as shotguns. I got so lucky. It's not going to be in this episode, but I got so lucky with a few shotgun mods that are really, really nice. Just keep that in mind. Those are my two best sets of mods. So I was thinking between the weapons Dread, Miter, maybe like the Soma or something like that, or any one of the shotguns, whether it be the Sobek, the Heck, or the Tigris. All of those weapons are on the table as far as boss type weapons, or weapons that just end up deleting mobs really easily. So if you could help me out, let me know what you think would be the best. And this is a weapon that I am going to take to that next level. Put on the Forma, put on the Potato, the Catalyst, make sure it's as good as I possibly could get, within reason. I'm definitely not going to be able to max all of the mods for one of these weapons, but I'll get close as I can. So with that being said, we can move on, because I actually did get a really nice blueprint here. I was kind of worried because I saw that someone had Stalker appear, and I really like when Stalker appears. Unfortunately, I will be not getting many Stalkers with avoiding all of these bosses. Stalker did appear, and I wanted to make sure to get the blueprint that he dropped, because a lot of those weapons are not just really cool looking, but they're really good. And I, for the first time ever in all of my thousands of hours of playing this game, got a war blueprint. That is cool. I did not even know that Stalker dropped war. I know that I have done the new war before, so I do know about, you get the broken war and then you build the war and stuff like that. So that was really, really cool to see the war blueprint. I was really excited about that. That is probably one of my favorite weapons of all time. So I am hopefully going to be getting the war eventually, whenever we do go through that quest line. That'll be really exciting. I'll probably keep that weapon for a very long time. At this point though, gathering weapons that I need a lot more plastids, because I'm trying to get weapons, and a lot of the weapons I just can't make for whatever reason. The planets that we're going to, not providing the materials I need plastids, I need spores and stuff like that. And also I don't know, I need to research. I don't know how to get Garuda's materials. I feel like I looked at them and it's just a foreign language. So I'm gonna check that out soon, because I do have full Garuda. I ended up farming the rest of it. There's just a lot of materials that I need, and so I'm slowly going to be going through each planet and trying to farm a little bit of these materials in the background. Lastly, I did end up farming Earth spy missions for a little while. So like I mentioned in the first two videos, I initially planned on being able to trade on this account, either only selling items just so that I could use the platinum that I sold in order to buy additional slots, but I'm not going to do that, like I mentioned at the top of the video. That being said, I was preparing for that, and I did end up doing a bit of farming on Earth spy missions. Shout out to anyone that knows what you can get on Earth spy missions. I think it's around 1 in 16 chance, I think, maybe even higher, to get this item, but I was fairly lucky. Each run of these spy missions took around 15 minutes because I did have to get all 3 of the secret caches, but I think around on my 7th run, I wasn't even recording it because I didn't expect to get it so soon, I got the Bite mod. This is a really, really sick find. I was so excited when I found this mod. Just the fact that it appeared in the final mission screen, I was losing it. So that was pretty cool. Very, very excited about that. For anyone that doesn't know, this is one of the newer, really, really, really good mods for claws, and it has about I don't know, like a 3% chance of dropping from the 3rd relic cache, or the 3rd cache in general, on Earth spy missions. So I ran a bunch of those solo and I got it. I was planning on selling this. I think it went for around like 50 or 60 platinum at the time, but now this is just going to be mine. So whenever it's nice I don't have to do this farm again. That's, I'm looking on the bright side, but also I do have one of the best mods that you can possibly get for claws going forward. So that's really, really cool. So I thought it would be a really cool way of ending off the episode, showing you guys that I got Bite, and that was, definitely the cherry on top for this episode, deciding not to sell stuff, and then of course naturally getting Bite right after that. And, it's kind of a sign maybe this is the route to go for this account. So hopefully you all enjoyed this episode. It's a bit of a longer one. And let me know, a lot of you said you did want longer episodes, or you did like longer episodes. So hopefully this is up your alley as well. I don't know how long this will be, but it'll probably be longer than our last few. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I can't wait for the next one. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.